If you ever wanted to lose weight, but it's really not working, there is a model or approach that might actually be really, really useful. I got it from one of my heroes, Charlie Munger, and it's called inverted thinking. So basically, in this video, I'm gonna share with you the 12 proven ways to gain as much weight as you possibly can, be as unhealthy as you can, and die as soon as, as possible. So live as short as possible. I'm gonna share all of this with you. It's gonna be really fun. But before we go there, click the subscribe button below, because on this channel, you're gonna learn how to build the 7-figure body, the healthy, strong, high-performing physique that goes along with your business success. What's up, guys? This is Coach Amir from 7figurebody.com, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the 12 proven ways to gain as much weight as possible and be as unhealthy, miserable, and live as short as possible. Now, of course, you may find this funny because everybody's talking about, oh my God, how am I going to lose weight? All the ways that you can, use to lose weight. Sure, but there is an approach that I really heard it many years ago from Charlie Munger, who basically is known for his speech called How to Have a Miserable Life. So basically, he and Warren Buffett, they always talk about invert, always invert. So they're saying sometimes you don't know what to do in order to achieve the goal you want, whether it be lose weight and get in great shape, build a bigger business, make more money, be happier. If you don't know what to do, there is an opposite way, which means just look at what not to do, or what would you do to get the opposite result. So let's say I don't know how to lose weight. Okay, so what should I do to gain as much weight as possible? I don't have any money. Okay, what should I do to not make any more money or be as broke as possible? This is called the inverted thinking, and I really love this approach because a lot of times it just kind of makes things very clear for you. And one thing before we go into the 12 ways that I've found that are guaranteed to get you to gain as much weight as possible, be as fat as possible, as overweight, and as unhealthy as you can be, and it's going to be really fun. But before we go there, I got a quick story for you. There is was a famous hypnotherapist called Milton Erickson, and he was known for, really his very successful but kind of nothing hold back approach. So there was this very overweight woman who's tried all the things to lose weight. She just couldn't. So she concluded, anything I do, I can't lose weight. That's just, it's impossible for me to lose weight. So somebody said, hey, go talk to this guy. If he can't help you, nobody can. So she goes and tells him, so Mr. Erickson, I've tried everything. I've tried diets, trainers, coaches, pills, fad diet. I've tried it all. I've started myself, went to whatever, and I just couldn't lose weight, and I can't lose weight doesn't matter what I do. For decades, I've tried, nothing works. And he said, I absolutely can help you, but you have to do exactly what I say. Are you going to do it? She said, absolutely, whatever you say, doesn't matter what it is, I'm going to do absolutely. She's like, are you going to do it? She's like, yes, I will. So here's what he said. He said, okay, how much do you weigh now? And let's say she says, I don't know what the number, but let's say she said, I'm 300 pounds. He says, okay, here's what I need you to do. I need you to go and gain 20 more pounds. I need you to gain 20 pounds, get to 320, and then come back to me. And she's like, oh my God, what is this guy telling me? This is insane. He said, no, this is, you said you're gonna do it, and I can't help you, but you have to do this first. Go and gain 20 pounds. And the story is, she went and ate, as you can imagine how much, pizzas and everything else that she couldn't, come up with. She gained 20 pounds, came back, and then the story was, then he was actually able to help her because, what's the moral of the story? She was so involved into that story that nothing actually works, that he had to take her out of that and put her into a new mindset of, I actually know how this works, I understand it. It's just to change her mindset about it. And this was essentially the inverted thinking approach in action, right? Even though these, I don't know that, Charlie Munger and Milton Erickson are connected in any way, but a lot of what I'm trying to say is that a lot of smart people, I think that Charlie Munger is one of the smartest, most deep thinkers that still lives today. And his approach is really phenomenal. So having said all this, let's go into, by the way, if you're not already, please read The Mental Models by Charlie Munger, and also his Charlie's Almanac, one of the best reads you'll ever have in your life, very likely. So without further ado, let's go into 12 ways to gain as much weight as possible, be as overweight, unhealthy, and as low energy and lethargic as you possibly can be, and live as short as you can be. here's the first thing. And this one comes from my ultimate role model in life, Dan Kennedy. I'm known as the Dan Kennedy of fitness, and I really, really am proud of that. So here's what he says. Just see what everybody else is doing and do that. So let's say you want to lose weight, build muscle, build a bigger business, have more money, whatever the goal is, just go and check out what everybody else is doing and do that. This is our number one way to gain as much weight as you can, is just look at what everybody else is doing and do more of that. Why is this going to work to help you gain a ton of weight? Is because look at an average person. Stats show that more than 80% of adults in the US are very overweight, 40+% are obese. So that is vast majority of people. So just look at what they're doing, do the same thing, you're going to get the same result. Okay? Number 2, do not, and I repeat, do not focus on calories when you're trying to lose weight, because remember, calories don't matter. It's about carbs. Carbs are making you fat, or it's about fats. Fats are making you fat, or it's about your whatever genes or something else. So certainly it's not calories, right? So do not focus on calories. The other day, a client of mine sent me a video by Jason Fung, which is probably, next to Dr. Oz, the biggest charlatan in this whole space. And basically his video starts with, he says, do not focus on tracking calories. That simply doesn't work, okay? So of course, a complete idiot and charlatan, selling, BS to the gullible masses, definitely follow things like, things like that, like advice like that, and people like that, you're gonna get really, really far. And of course, do not focus on calories, right? Focus on everything else, but neglect your calories. You're gonna gain a ton of weight over time, guaranteed. Number 3, okay? Hop from one fad diet to the other, ideally as many of them as you can, as fast as you can. So as new fad diets come out, probably weekly, monthly, whatever it is, and as they pick up, find those and hop on every single one as fast as you can, okay? So you tried, keto, that didn't work. Okay, there's carnivore. There's like dumber version of keto. It's called carnivore. Jump on that. Or if that didn't work, well, there's gonna be, some kind of low fat, low carb, there's fasting, so basically as many of the fad diets as fast as you can if you hop from one to the other, and actually you're gonna gain a ton of weight, by the way. And actually scientific studies have shown that the best way to gain weight over time is to actually do a lot of fad diets, in as fast manner, hopping from one to the other as possible, because we know that almost as a given, after every diet, you will regain more weight back. So yo-yo dieting, right? And we're talking about specifically fads and just masses jumping on the new fad. Most people who do that gain more weight after that diet. So if you do as many of them as fast as you can, you're guaranteed to gain as much weight as you possibly can, okay? So hopping from one fad diet to the other, that is number 3, okay? Number 4 is think short term. Always think short term. And by the way, the shorter term you think, the better if you want to gain a ton of weight. So never think long term, who cares, what can you do in a year, 5, whatever. Just focus on the next month, okay? Or 3 weeks. Or ideally, if you have some kind of, a wedding or a party or some kind of thing that you really want to look good for, and that's like in 2 weeks, that is perfect. Definitely think in 2 weeks, like what can I do to get, as much weight as off as I can in 2 weeks. That is the best way. 3 is kind of like pushing, right? So always, you get the idea. Always, always, always think short term. That means you're gonna do extreme things. You're gonna starve yourself, do too much exercise, do whatever else to like wreck your metabolism. It's an awesome, awesome way to gain as much weight as possible shortly after that, okay? Number 5 is avoid responsibility for the weight you have now, how much you weigh, what your fat percentage is. Definitely avoid responsibility. It's not you, it's certainly not you, and blame anything and everyone else. So it's your genes, it's the circumstances, it's the air, it's the president, it's the economic conditions, right? It is, whatever else, but it's definitely not you, okay? So avoid all responsibility as much as you can, because we know that, one of the first things that every diet book out there, which I have a video showing how to never why you never should read another diet book again, because I summarize it for you in 4 steps. Like I'm going to link that video somewhere here. But the number one thing that every sales letter, every diet book, every, whatever way you find that's new and magical weight loss, the first thing they tell you is not your fault, okay? It's not your fault. It's not that you were overeating, that didn't do enough exercise. It's definitely not that. It's certainly not you. It is all these other things. Somebody probably had you in a, neck choke and like put some kind of thing here and like fed you, 15 hours a day, that's what they did to you, that's why you're overweight, right? So it's definitely not you. So avoid all responsibility that you can and blame everybody else. Amazing way to gain a ton of weight and just feel great about yourself because it's not your fault. Like, what can you do, right? It's definitely not you, okay? Now, going into sixth way to gain a ton of weight and be as overweight and as unhealthy as possible is focus on fast weight loss. This goes very, very, along with thinking short term, but you really need this fast, like really, really fast. For this one, I have a great story. Many years ago, probably like 2009, so this is almost like a decade and a half ago, I had a client who was a woman who was over 300 pounds. And she would basically go into these cycles of, she calls me and says, Amir, we need to work out 7 days a week. I need to be on the fastest possible weight loss diet ever. And I'm like, yeah, you don't need to do that. And actually, not that you don't need to, you must not do that because you're gonna get, no, she knows what she wants. If I'm not willing to, she's gonna go somewhere else, right? I'm like, sorry, I mean, we can work out together as many times as you want, but I'm not gonna put you on a starvation diet. It's just like shooting yourself in the foot. Nope, that's not what she wants. She needs to lose 15 pounds by next week. And I'm like, why? How'd you come up with that? Well, she watched Biggest Loser, and that's where people are losing 15 pounds, in a week, or 17, whatever they're losing, I don't know. But basically, remember guys, there was a study that is now known as the classic, Biggest Loser study, where almost every winner of that show over seasons, they checked with them a year later, whatever, all of these people have regained all the weight and then some. So they were more overweight and weighed more than they did before the show. Is that an actual surprise to anybody? Imagine these people are locked up, like literally they're locked up. They can't go out. It's not free living conditions. They're locked up, given 600 calories to eat, so basically below starvation level diet, and you have some clueless trainer screaming and yelling at them for 8 hours a day to do exercise. How does that resemble a normal, actual free living conditions, like your actual life? Like, how does that compare to your normal life? Can you do that? No, of course not. So what happens is the moment they come out of that into normal life, they start eating normally because they've learned exactly nothing about what it actually takes to lose weight and keep it off. Like, they haven't learned anything. So they go out, start eating, blow up again, and weigh more than they did before. Okay? So definitely focus on fast weight loss as fast as you can. So I've always said you can lose 1 to 2 pounds of fat per week. No, definitely don't do that. Focus on 15 pounds, even if it's water, muscle, whatever it is, doesn't matter. As fast weight loss as possible, this is a great way to gain a ton of weight, so make sure to focus on that. Number 7, change as many things in your life as you can at one time. This is one of my favorite pet peeves. I really love it when somebody comes and says, I'm gonna overhaul my whole life. So everything that I am, which is every single one of us, is basically a combination of a bunch of habits. So we kind of mostly just repeat the same day over and over and over again. Probably like 80+% of the things we do on a daily basis, activity-wise, food-wise, what do we eat, how much we exercise, like all of this is really more or less just copy-paste, day to day to day, year to year, decade to decade, more or less. Like 80% is just the same thing that we do every day. So therefore, the great way to gain as much weight as you can is focus on making a ton of changes. So you go and say, I used to have 3 meals a day for 30 years. Now some fasting zealot tells me that's bad, so you should have 1 meal or 2. Definitely do that. That's a really great way to gain a ton of weight. Or, you loved your breakfast, now skip your breakfast. You love this, no, skip that. Like, change as many things as you can. Overhaul everything. Try to do 100 changes, ideally 200, 500 changes. Like, basically change everything there was compared to yesterday. Amazing way to gain a ton of weight, because you will absolutely guaranteed fail to do that, and therefore any result you get just going to yo-yo diet quickly back. Okay, now 8th way to gain a ton of weight is weigh yourself every single day, number 1, and the second part of that is just focus on the scale. So don't look at body fat percentage, changes in your physique, how you feel, how you look. None of that matters. Just scale and make sure to weigh yourself every single day. Now remember, if you are, as an intelligent person, losing 1 pound to 2 pounds of body fat per week, you can maybe expect to see that on the scale, like 1 pound a week. But on the other hand, up to 65% of your body is water. So how much you've eaten the night before, how many carbs you've eaten the night before, because a gram of carbs ties 4 grams of water to itself. So how much carbs you've eaten before? How did you sleep? Are you stressed out or not? Are you dehydrated, more or less dehydrated? All of these millions, like hundreds and hundreds of things are going to impact how much you weigh on a daily basis. And your weight fluctuates from 1 to 5, sometimes 6 pounds within every single 24 hours, 1 to 6 pounds. So if you expect to, hop on a scale and once a week see that 1 pound of change because you lost a pound of body fat, good luck, right? So definitely don't do that. Don't, weigh yourself once a week. Definitely weigh yourself every single day, because you can't see any real changes in one day. Like literally there's nothing in this world that exists that we can properly measure what happened in one day, okay? So definitely make sure to weigh yourself every day and focus only on the scale. Definitely do not focus on anything else, just the scale. This is an amazing way, like guaranteed way to gain a ton of weight. Like you just can't escape it. You absolutely will. So make sure, weigh yourself every day, focus only on the scale and nothing else, okay? Now, number 9 way to gain a ton of weight is do not exercise, especially do not do any lifting weights or resistance training. Definitely avoid that. So funny story, there is a ton of weight loss clinics, chain of weight loss clinics around the country and probably around the world, that basically tell their clients not to exercise especially in the first month on their program. Do not exercise. And of course, a lot of people are like, oh, it's awesome. I don't even have to exercise and I lose weight. Yay. Okay. So why are they saying not to exercise? Because when you do exercise, you tend to keep your muscle. The amount of muscle you have, you keep it. And therefore, the only thing that you're losing is actual body fat. And that's going to be, as we said, 1 to 2 pounds of fat a week. And even if you're on some kind of starvation, like crazy low calorie diet, probably going to lose maybe 2 to 3 pounds a week. If somebody's very morbidly obese, maybe 4 pounds a week. But again, that's very, very, very little and insufficient compared to what people are expecting based on, Biggest Loser shows. And what these clinics are promising. They're saying 10 pounds in a week, right? The only way to lose 10 pounds in a week is to lose a lot of water and a lot of muscle, right? So when you don't exercise, you lose much more muscle. Of course, they don't care, because the only thing they do is like, hey, hop on the scale. If the number on the scale is lower, awesome. Doesn't matter if you lost muscle, water, none of that matters. Now, what happens if you lost muscle? Of course, your metabolism is now lower. You will be hungrier, and therefore, you're absolutely going to gain a ton of weight back. Now, of course, for these weight loss clinics, it's great, because if you lost, let's say 30 pounds in the first 2 months, then regained 40 the next month, they're like, hey, we told you what to do, but you didn't have willpower. Come again. We're going to put you on another one. So basically, you can go there forever, right? And keep paying them forever. They have no interest in you actually losing weight and keeping it around forever. Like, how do you keep paying them, right? So remember, definitely a great way to gain a ton of weight is do not exercise, and especially avoid lifting weights, because lifting weights actually keep your muscle. Cardio, at least especially a lot of cardio, can actually be detrimental, meaning you lose more muscle, because cardio does not build nor keep muscle. Lifting weights does. So basically, do not exercise, especially avoid lifting weights. Awesome way to gain a ton of weight, okay? Now, next is the 10th way is cut out all of your favorite foods. So basically all the foods that you love and enjoy and really, really like eating, don't have any of that. Cut all of them out, okay? Because this is an amazing way to not learn anything about sustainable weight loss, right? Because are you going to, pick your 5 favorite foods? What are they? If you wrote them down and I told you can't have any of that for the rest of your life, what kind of life is that? First, you don't have to do that, by the way. Number 2 is you probably can't even stick to that for any length of time to lose weight. And then 3, why on earth would you avoid something that you really like? Doesn't matter what that is. It can be, cookies, ice cream, pizzas. I'm not saying eat that all the time. What I'm saying is you can include that, absolutely can include certain amounts of that, as long as you account for the calories in a normal way in my world, right? In this world where we're trying to gain weight, absolutely cut out all of those. You're absolutely guaranteed that at some point it could be like, hey, I'm just not gonna do that. This is misery of life. Screw this. If this is what it takes to be lean, I just wanna be fat, right? So definitely cut out all the favorite foods and do not eat any of them for whatever long very short time that you're on this diet, okay? Number 11 is focus on willpower, okay? So most certainly do not focus on your environment. Your environment is, by the way, the biggest driver of behavior, okay? So don't focus on that. Definitely focus on your willpower and self-discipline. So remember, there's a bunch of books on this topic, and basically they say that people who are considered by others to be highly self-disciplined and consider themselves to be highly self-disciplined are actually the most likely to give in when they're exposed to temptations. So basically, the reason somebody is self-disciplined is because they have willingly, or let's say consciously or unconsciously, they created an environment where they are not tempted. This is the way you win to actually lose weight. But in this case, we're trying to gain weight and be as fat, as unhealthy, and live as short as possible. Therefore, definitely focus on willpower as much as you can. Bring pizzas and ice creams and, you know, like all these like high calorie food, junk food as much as you can, and put it everywhere. And then just, you know, willpower your way through. Like, don't you want it hard enough? Come on, right? And then the final, last way, the 12th way to gain a ton of weight is, this is a really, really good one. And that is always, always, always compare yourself to your favorite steroid, you know, filled and roided out, if it's a male, IG or YouTube fitness influencer, okay? Focus on him and compare yourself to them. Or if you're a woman, then find some kind of a, you know, like a eating disorder, skinny, photoshopped girl who is also a Instagram or YouTube influencer. So compare yourself to them in every single thing. So if you lose 10 pounds, but you're not ripped yet, and look at the guy who is ripped, definitely focus on him and focus on her. Never focus on yourself. Never focus and compare yourself to your previous self. So if you had some success and progress, don't focus on that, because that doesn't matter, because you're not there yet, right? If you look at some roided out guy and you're like, oh, he's looks so great, even if he's on steroids and he's a moron, doesn't matter. Just focus on him. Do not focus on your own progress. Guys, those are the 12 ways, guaranteed ways. Like, I guarantee you, if you do every single one of these, especially more of them or all of them combined, you're gonna blow up and be 500 pounds. You're probably gonna die really soon. You're gonna be so fat you won't even be able to walk. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so if that's what you want, do these 12 things. And of course, if that's not what you want, let's real quick run back, you know, through that in the opposite way. Okay, so what should you actually do if you're trying to lose weight and keep it up forever? Look at what everyone else is doing and don't do that. Do the opposite. Okay, number one thing to focus on is calories. Always focus on calories. They are the king for weight loss and weight gain. Number three, do not do fad diets. Do not hop from one to the other. Find a way to have a customized diet for yourself and just do that. Number four is always think short term. Ask yourself, while you're on a diet, can I be doing this 20 years from now? If you can't, it's not gonna work. Find a diet that allows you to be on it for the next 20, 30, 50 years. That's the only way to have it be sustainable. Always take responsibility. It is always you. Nobody force-fed you to gain weight. So always focus on taking responsibility and never blame anybody or anything else. It's you. Doesn't matter what your genes are. You can be in absolutely amazing shape and have a pretty damn great physique. I guarantee you that. Next, focus on slow but sustainable weight loss. Do not think of fast weight loss. Okay, how much can you lose? 1 to 2 pounds of body fat per week. That's it. If you have 50 pounds to lose, yeah, it's probably like, 25 to 50 weeks, 6 to 12 months. Yes, but you're gonna lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life, all right? Now, change as few things as possible when trying to lose weight. So if you used to have 3 meals, keep 3 meals a day. If you used to eat at 8 p.m., eat at 8 p.m. Do as few changes as possible. You're much more likely to succeed that way, okay? Then do not weigh yourself every day. It's pointless, nor should you use a scale as your main gauge of how you're doing on the weight loss progress. Use body fat caliper, costs $10 on Amazon, Slim Guide caliper, and track your body fat percentage, not your weight. This is much, much, much more reliable. Then definitely exercise, because while exercise doesn't really burn that many calories and it's not that important for weight loss, it is the main thing that's gonna allow you to keep the weight off. People who lose weight and keep it off, the one thing they have in common, the main thing they have in common is regular exercise. Within that, definitely focus on lifting weights, because that's going to allow you to keep the muscle you have. Or if you're in my program, if you're my client, you're very likely to actually gain muscle while losing body fat at the same time. Yes, it's absolutely possible. 95+% of my clients achieve exactly that. Okay. Next, definitely do not cut out all your favorite foods. Actually, I would say don't cut out any foods that you want. I never tell my clients what not to eat. I only tell them what to eat and tell them that they can and should have 100% unrestricted diet. You should include all the foods you want, maybe in smaller amounts, maybe less frequently, but you absolutely should include them so you're not mentally starving for that food, and you can basically guarantee then that it's going to be sustainable. Okay. Next is do not focus on willpower and self-discipline, you will absolutely fail. 100+ years of scientific research in the field of psychology, in 2 words, concludes willpower fails, self-discipline fails. Okay, so instead of focusing on being a robot and self-discipline, iron master, nobody is. Focus on creating an environment that does not tempt you, and creating on like conditions around you that make you win instead of lose. Next and last is never ever ever compare yourself to anybody else. Who cares what some steroid, filled moron looks like or does, what some Photoshopped, eating disorder, skinny girl does? Who cares? Focus on, you can, and look at other people. You can look at other people as motivation. Like when I see somebody who's doing better than me in any way, I'm like, that is amazing. I get motivated by it. I'm like, okay, what are they doing that I'm not? Let me try to see if something that they're doing is actually applicable to me, if it makes sense, it doesn't harm my health. Let me try to see, maybe I can do something better. But never compare yourself to them, because there's always somebody doing better. And the only thing you should compare yourself to is your previous you. So I used to be, 50 pounds overweight. Now I'm only 10 pounds overweight. Awesome. That's a celebration point right there. So always focus on progress and nothing else, because progress equals motivation. So guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. And if you like this video, then you're going to love the free training that I got for you that shows you A to Z how to lose 20 to 50 pounds without starvation, without cardio, and without cutting out carbs. Also, if you go and click in the video description below, there is a link to click to, you can put your email, I'll send you that free training. And I'm going to give you a free copy digital copy of this book sent to your inbox. This book is $25 on Amazon, the physical version, like this actual book. And if you go there, click that link, put your email name, I think is a phone number, we're gonna send you a free training that's gonna show you exactly how to lose all the weight and get in amazing shape. And you're gonna get a free copy, digital version of this book as well. So guys, that's it for this video. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for your time, and see you next time.